You're in ancient Egypt, battling a headache or stomach ailment. Instead of running to the nearest pharmacy, your cure might involve a mixture of herbs, prayers, and possibly an incantation to one of Egypt's gods. Medicine in ancient Egypt wasn't just about what you could physically heal. It was also about invoking the supernatural. Their medical knowledge was impressive for its time, blending the scientific with the mystical. But the real question is, how much of their healing knowledge influenced modern medicine? And what are we still missing today that they mastered thousands of years ago? Strap in for a journey back in time to uncover how ancient Egyptians may have been more ahead of their time than we ever realized, from surgeries to supernatural cures. The medical marvels of the Nile. Let's be real when we think of ancient Egypt. We often picture massive pyramids and the enigmatic Sphinx. But let's not forget their medical accomplishments, which are just as awe-inspiring. The Egyptians were pioneers, especially when it came to healthcare. From head injuries to bone fractures, ancient Egyptian physicians were remarkably skilled in diagnosing and treating trauma with evidence of their understanding of human anatomy. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, one of the oldest known medical texts, showcases how these doctors not only treated physical injuries, but also provided detailed instructions for surgery. In fact, some recent studies suggest that ancient Egyptians might have performed early cancer treatments, which is mind-blowing given that cancer wasn't identified as a disease until relatively recently. These medical pioneers were creating a legacy of innovation that still influences modern medical practices. 2. The healing hands of the pharaohs. Who were the medical professionals trusted by pharaohs to treat their most personal health concerns? Well, it wasn't just anyone. Physicians in ancient Egypt held an esteemed position in society, and for good reason. These doctors were highly educated, often passing down their knowledge through generations. The Edwin Smith Papyrus is a goldmine of information, containing detailed procedures for treating head trauma, fractures, and injuries. With a highly advanced understanding of human anatomy, these ancient doctors were able to diagnose and treat physical injuries using a variety of surgical methods, ranging from simple splints to more complex surgeries like trepanation, the process of drilling holes in the skull. Trepanation was used to treat head injuries by relieving pressure on the brain, and evidence suggests that some patients survived the procedure, showing that Egyptian doctors understood the importance of timing and technique. But it wasn't all about blood and bandages. Many doctors also specialized in herbal remedies, combining plant-based treatments with their medical knowledge to heal patients. The complexity of their healing arts might make us think twice about those basic doctor visits we take today. The magic of medicinal plants. The Egyptians were not only masters of surgery and bandages, they were also skilled herbalists, knowing the medicinal properties of hundreds of plants. The role of herbs in their medical practices is truly impressive. For example, garlic was a vital part of their medical toolkit, often used to fight infections. It's said that garlic was considered a powerful remedy to ward off everything from colds to infectious diseases, and even to keep snakes at bay. In fact, their knowledge of medicinal plants was so profound that they utilized them in everything from healing ointments to tonics for digestive health. These plant-based remedies weren't just passed down by word of mouth either. Many ancient Egyptian medical texts contain detailed instructions for preparing and applying these plant-based concoctions. For example, honey, which was used in ancient Egyptian medicine for its antibacterial properties, is now commonly found in modern wound care products. 4th, surgical skills. Surgery in ancient Egypt? Absolutely. As shocking as it may sound, these early healers were not only capable of performing some basic surgeries, but also had a keen understanding of anatomy. Take trepanation, for example, the practice of drilling holes into the skull to treat head injuries. While we might think of this as a practice that only modern doctors can handle, The Egyptians had been performing trepanation for centuries. What's even more mind-blowing is that they seem to have done it with surprising success. Recent studies of mummies with signs of trepanation show that the individuals survived the procedure and lived for many years afterward, suggesting that Egyptian surgeons were more than capable. And it wasn't just about drilling holes in skulls. If you think that modern dental care is advanced, just imagine being treated by a surgeon without modern anesthesia. The Egyptians were clearly ahead of their time in the world of surgery, providing a foundation for many of the techniques still in use today. 5. The role of magic and religion in healing. Now, let's add a bit of mysticism to the medical mix. In ancient Egypt, medicine wasn't just about bandages and herbs, it was also about invoking divine powers to cure what ailed you. While today we might think of a doctor's office as a strictly science-based place, ancient Egyptian healers often blended science and spirituality in ways that seem strange by modern standards. The Egyptians believed in powerful gods and goddesses, and these divine beings were called upon to help with healing. For example, Hathor, the goddess of love and healing, was often invoked for ailments related to childbirth and women's health. In fact, many treatments involved not just physical remedies, but also prayers, spells, and magical incantations to summon the gods' blessings. This spiritual approach reflected the belief that illness wasn't just a physical issue, but also a spiritual one. If someone was sick, it might be because they had angered a god, and a ritual or spell was necessary to restore balance. While it might sound like something out of a fantasy novel, these practices were deeply embedded in Egyptian society. 6. Preserving the past. Fast forward to today, and we're able to learn about ancient Egyptian medicine in ways that would have been impossible just a few decades ago. Thanks to technological advances like CT scans and X-rays, scientists can now study ancient mummies without disturbing them, allowing researchers to peek into the medical practices of ancient Egyptians like never before. For instance, mummies have revealed evidence of ancient surgical procedures and even diseases such as cancer. CT scans of mummies from ancient Egypt have shown signs of tumors, leading researchers to speculate that the Egyptians may have been among the first to recognize and treat cancer. But it's not just about disease. Scientists have also found evidence of advanced surgery techniques, like amputations, with some mummies showing evidence of successful healing. What's even more fascinating is that these discoveries aren't just coming from the usual suspects like tombs and pyramids. Recent finds from ancient Egyptian workers' villages have revealed medical practices used by everyday people, not just royalty. 7. The legacy lives on. If you think ancient Egyptian medicine is just a thing of the past, think again. Many of their medical practices have had a lasting influence on the world of healthcare, and some are still alive and well in modern treatments today. From the use of medicinal plants like garlic, myrrh, and honey, to the basic principles of hygiene, surgery, and even holistic care, Egypt's medical knowledge continues to resonate. For example, the use of honey as a wound treatment is still common in modern medicine, and the antiseptic qualities of myrrh and frankincense were recognized long before we had the tools to understand bacteria and infection. Many of the principles of anatomy and surgery that were first developed by Egyptian doctors have been refined over time, but their foundation remains the same. So, the next time you go for a routine checkup or pick up some honey for a sore throat, you can thank the ancient. And that's a wrap on the fascinating world of ancient Egyptian medicine. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more amazing content. Hit the bell so you never miss an adventure through history. Stay curious and see you next time.